We think it's best you step away for now. A group message. No call, no warning. Just digital exile delivered by emoji. Claire read it once, then again. The microwave beeped in the background, but she didn't hear it. The curry inside had gone cold. She hadn't blinked. Her family had voted her out with a thumbs up and a heart. They thought it was over. They didn't realize what else she managed. She closed the fund that night quietly, completely. 5 years of bank wires, overdraft rescues, pharmacy, co-pays, holiday bailouts. Gone with a click. At 3:11 a.m., her phone started buzzing. By sunrise, 89 missed calls. The last voicemail from her father. What happened? The bank flagged everything. Are you okay? Claire didn't reply immediately. Instead, she opened the spreadsheet. The one with tabs, receipts, logs, every dollar, every silence. Every time they called her the responsible one, like it was a leash, not a compliment. She typed one sentence into the family group chat, understood. I'll step away from the family fund too. Then she went to work. Not to explain, not to apologize, but to document. Because when they decided to erase her, they forgot she kept records. And they were about to learn what happens when the net walks away. We think it's best you step away for now. A group message. No call, no context. Just exile delivered via emoji. The screen stayed lit with those words hovering in the family group chat like a stain that wouldn't fade. Claire stared at it standing barefoot on the cold tile of her kitchen, one hand still gripping the microwave handle. The curry inside had long finished reheating, but the beeping went unnoticed. She didn't blink. Instead, her mind traveled uninvited to a December night 2 years ago Megan had overdosed in the bathroom of her ex-boyfriend's apartment. Claire had driven through sleet to the emergency room, paid the hospital bill with a maxed-out card, then gone home to eat instant noodles alone in her studio apartment, the steam fogging her glasses as she stared at her cracked ceiling. And now this. No explanation. No warning. Just a sentence with corporate coldness and a thumbs-up reaction from Aunt Carol, who once sent Claire a Walmart toaster for Christmas wrapped in a Neiman Marcus bag. The phone buzzed again. Another emoji. This time, a heart from Megan. Claire didn't reply. She simply turned around, set the untouched bowl of curry on the counter, and walked to her desk. The spreadsheet was still open, a massive archive with 10 tabs, one for each family member. It was color-coded, every dollar traced and labeled. 5 years of quiet maintenance. 5 years of covering overdrafts, therapy bills, bailouts, birthday gifts that her parents forgot to fund. Her fingers hovered over the trackpad. Understood. I'll step away from the family fund too. She typed the sentence into the group chat and hit send. No periods, no emojis. Just a full stop of a gesture. She didn't wait for anyone to type back. Claire opened the fund management portal. The autopay interface was pale blue, cheerfully sterile, asking if she was sure she wanted to disable scheduled distributions. She was. Click. Each click felt like peeling back a scab. She started downloading the bank statements monthly, quarterly, the tax records, the donation receipts that were never real. Screenshots folder after folder. She organized them by name, year, and damage. Her hands moved with mechanical precision, but her chest burned with a heat that had nothing to do with the curry. The room was silent aside from the low hum of the heater. She could hear her own breathing, measured, not calm. Once, as a child, she had overheard her father shouting into a phone. "Ray's a goddamn traitor, he walked away when Mom needed us." She hadn't known what he meant. Uncle Ray had vanished from their lives like a ghost, his name scraped out of photo albums and holiday rosters. Now, as Claire watched the loading bar crawl across her screen, exporting transactions 97%, she wondered if Ray had felt the same lightness in his spine. It was almost 3 a.m. Claire finalized the last step, revoking all user access except her own. No one else had known she'd set up dual verification. Claire always left back doors open. But not tonight. Tonight, she sealed every exit. She stared at the account summary, $0 scheduled, all distributions canceled. She saved the final screen, renamed it Freedom Final, and closed her laptop. The heater clicked off. She stood up, stretched her arms, and looked around the apartment. Quiet, sparse, not lonely, just hers. Claire turned off the kitchen light. 3:11 a.m. Her phone vibrates. 89 missed calls. Last text from her dad. What happened? The bank flagged everything. Are you okay? Claire opens a folder labeled Emergency Proofs. Family. She didn't name it out of spite. She named it out of survival. The folder lived on an encrypted drive that Claire hadn't touched since the pandemic, when isolation made her reckless enough to consider confronting everything. But back then, survival meant endurance, gritting her teeth, making transfers, keeping everyone afloat. Now it meant preparing for aftershocks. The office was empty except for the soft whir of the HVAC system and the blue glare of her monitor. From the parking lot, her floor was the only one lit. Claire liked it that way. No noise. No eyes. She dragged open the folder. Subfolders bloomed inside: phone records, medical bills, PayPal screenshots, unreimbursed guilt tax. Each one a grave marker of a moment she had swallowed her discomfort and written the check anyway. The worst ones weren't even big expenses. She clicked open a scanned email, Megan demanding $480 for new tires, saying she needed them to reset her life. Claire had replied, "I just paid your rent." The response was silence, followed by their mother calling to ask why Claire was being so cold. She added that memory to a new spreadsheet tab, Tires 2019. Total $0 reimbursed. Emotional cost TBD. Her fingers moved fast. Bank statements. Shared Uber receipts. Surprise copay charges. Claire backed everything up to a Google Drive folder titled Inheritance of Guilt, locked 2FA protected, then mirrored onto an offline drive. Her inbox dinged. It was a reply from the bank. Authorization revocation confirmed. No one else could touch the accounts now. The email felt like a firewall slamming down between her and the people who once called her the responsible one, like it was both a compliment and a leash. Her eyes were dry, her mind surgical. Down the hallway, elevator doors chimed faintly. Claire didn't turn around. She opened another file: text exchanges with Megan over the past year. Demands veiled as affirmations. I need the Arizona yoga retreat. It's not luxury, it's healing. Cost $200. Megan had CC'd their parents in the group chat. Her father had replied with a thumbs up. Her mother added, "We'll figure it out, Claire always does." Claire highlighted the line, added it to her spreadsheet under emotional transactions, and moved on. She reached for her thermos, but it was empty. Across the room, Zoe leaned against the doorway, holding 2 coffees. One black one, Claire's usual oat milk. "You haven't moved in 3 hours," Zoe said, walking in. "That's impressive. Or terrifying." Claire didn't look up. Both. Zoe placed the coffee down, then took the rolling chair opposite Claire's desk. "You're doing it, aren't you?" she said. "Actually cutting them off." Claire clicked save. "They cut me first." Zoe studied her for a beat. "You helped me walk again when my insurance denied the MRI. Just so you know, some of us get it." Claire hesitated, then exhaled. "Thanks." Zoe stood. "Also, if anything in that mess smells fishy, get a lawyer. Better now than court later." Claire paused. "Fishy how?" Zoe shrugged. "Hypothetically, if your sister were Googling how to open a nonprofit with her boyfriend who owns 0 shirts, that might be interesting." Claire's fingers froze on the keyboard. "I'm not joking," Zoe added. "She asked if we have a template for setting up a 501c3. Said she wants to give back." Claire opened a new tab and typed Megan Parker Nonprofit into the search bar. Nothing yet. She closed the browser and returned to her files. Deep in her inbox, buried under newsletters and utility alerts, she found an old email from 2015. Subject line: "You'll need this someday. It was from Uncle Ray. Don't let them chain you with gratitude." 12 words. That was it. Claire read them once, then again. Then a third time, more slowly. She opened the family spreadsheet and, without overthinking it, attached the email as a footnote to every tab. The cursor blinked like a heartbeat. The screen dimmed slightly. Her phone lit up. "Dad." She let it ring, but his voicemail came through anyway. Then another call. Then another. Finally, she answered. His voice was hoarse, nearly cracking. The mortgage bounced. I thought you handled the insurance. We're uninsured now. Claire didn't expect silence to be this loud. No, thank you. No, we're sorry. Just collapse. It echoed in the digital void emails. Unanswered voicemails full of static group chats filled with passive-aggressive punctuation. Claire scrolled through her inbox, the same message format repeating like a broken record. Vague, guilt-veiled expectations, then silence when none were met. Her apartment remained spotless. Her fridge organized her evenings quiet. But the quiet was deceptive. Outside her window, Christmas lights blinked weakly on her neighbor's balcony. Inside the screen burned with subject lines like, "Can we talk? Need advice? This isn't like you." She closed her laptop and stared at the ceiling. Last year, when she called to share the news of her promotion, executive CFO, youngest in the company's history, her father had paused, then said, "That's great, sweetie. Now back to Megan's housing issue." No applause, just redirection. The weeks since she closed the accounts had fractured the fragile illusion. Her mother had slipped and broken her wrist, Claire found out from a CC on a medical bill. Megan posted an Instagram story from a spa in Sedona captioned, "Healing is messy. Be gentle with me." Claire had paid for that robe. Last year. Now Megan's text came through mid-morning. "You abandoned us, just like Ray." Claire stared at it, then deleted the message without replying. That afternoon, Zoe knocked on the glass wall of Claire's office, a bag of Thai takeout in hand. "I brought larb," she said. "Figured you'd forgotten to eat." Claire nodded. "Thanks." Zoe sat unwrapping the containers. "They're unraveling, huh?" Claire poked at the rice. "They're used to me catching the thread." Zoe tilted her head. "Sometimes you let things fray on purpose. That's not evil. That's boundary." Claire didn't answer. Instead, she opened her secondary email account, the one only a few people had access to. A message from Aunt Carol sat unread subject line. "Some things don't need receipts." Claire opened it. No body text. Just that subject line. Cryptic. Loaded. Exactly like Carol. She minimized the tab. That evening, another email popped up, this time from her mother. No greeting. No words. Just a photo attachment, their living room dimly lit with an empty Christmas tree standing like a carcass in the corner. No decorations. No presents. Claire closed the email and reached for her backup drive. She began organizing a new folder: evidence. Holiday guilt tactics. She didn't need to open old wounds to know what she'd find: her own bank statements lined with $200 Amazon charges every December because her parents forgot gifts until Claire stepped in. Or Megan's handwritten wish lists emailed like invoices. She logged into Zoom, not for a meeting, but to test her camera. The reflection was calm, unshaken. Then her phone lit up again. Emily, a cousin who'd always stayed quiet in family drama. The text read, "There's a family catch-up Zoom this Saturday. Feels like a setup. Just a heads up." Claire stared at the message, then opened her email. There it was. "Let's reconnect this weekend, a family invite, vague and casual, no agenda, no structure. Just enough room to pounce." She clicked accept. Then she got to work. Claire opened her master spreadsheet, duplicated it, and began annotating it for presentation highlighted categories, color-coded timelines, receipts embedded into cells. Then she composed an email to herself and BCC'd a separate inbox. Subject for your records. And mine. Attachment family. Financial. Truth final XLS. Zoe watched from the couch, sipping tea. "You're going in heavy," she said. Claire nodded. "If they're going to perform, I'll bring the script." Saturday night came quickly. Claire set her laptop on the kitchen table, dimmed the lights, turned on one lamp, made sure her camera caught her full face, neutral, unreadable. She clicked into the Zoom link. The screen loaded. First a spinning wheel, then one square popped up, Megan already crying. Another dad standing jaw tight. Another mom, hands clasped, eyes moist but unblinking. Then Carol, perfectly lit, smiling faintly as if watching a show she already knew the ending to. Claire unmuted her mic. Let's begin. They thought this was a trial, but I came armed with evidence, not apologies. Claire adjusted the camera one last time. She wore black. Not for mourning, but for clarity. Neutral, timeless, unreadable. Across the grid of screens, familiar faces flickered into focus like masks behind glass. Megan's eyes were already red lips pursed in deliberate fragility. James sat ramrod straight in an office chair, jaw-tight hair unbrushed. Linda was next to him on the couch, her fingers clasped around a throw pillow like it might detonate. Aunt Carol appeared perfectly composed in a velvet shawl chin slightly raised as if watching a student recital. Emily's square was dim, her face lit by a laptop glow, quiet, taking it in. Claire let the silence stretch. Then, with the calm of someone reciting her grocery list, she said, "Thank you for making time." No one responded. Not yet. Her cursor moved deliberate. She clicked share screen. A folder opened, then a file titled 5 Years of Being Your Net. XLX. The spreadsheet took over the Zoom window. Zoe's voice echoed in her head from earlier that day. Don't defend yourself. Present the facts. Let the silence do the rest. Row by row, the screen scrolled, each entry time-stamped, categorized, labeled. Megan, ER copay, $1, $200 or dad. Business overdraft, $2,500 mom. Card declined at pharmacy, $137 Carol. Christmas flights reimbursed, $320 family. Mortgage rescue transfer, $5,000. A color-coded columns lit up the history. There were notes attached, screenshots, hyperlinked, PDF invoices embedded. Venmo captures, email chains, bank flags, all tidy, all verified. No one spoke. Then Carol's voice slithered through sugary and dismissive, "Who keeps all this?" Claire didn't look up. Someone who knew you'd gaslight her. The room went breathless. James muttered, "Claire, this is excessive. You're making it look like we were leeching." Claire tilted her head. "If the numbers embarrass you, that's not on me." Megan sniffled loudly. "You said nothing. For years. If you had a problem, why now?" Claire clicked to the final tab. At the bottom, bold and centered total $87,426.32. Claire leaned forward. "I didn't cancel a fund," she said. "I canceled a leash." James stood up in his box, flailing slightly. "You think you're better than us? Because you keep receipts." Linda's voice was tight. "You're still our daughter. Family doesn't come with ledgers." No, Claire agreed, but this one came with invoices. She opened her inbox and clicked send on a pre-drafted message. A soft ding echoed in their ears. Phones lit up. "I've revoked all authorizations," Claire said. "Every link, every password, every shared account is closed." Linda opened her mouth. Claire kept going. "My attorney is filing the disengagement from all legal obligations. Power of attorney emergency contacts the family trust done. You are now," she paused, "as independent as you claimed you wanted me to be." Silence. Even Carol blinked. Claire glanced once at Emily's screen. Her cousin was frozen, unreadable, but still there. Megan wiped her face. "So that's it? You're walking away?" Claire inhaled. Her voice didn't rise. It softened. "You didn't exile me," she said. "You freed me." And then with one click, she ended the Zoom. The screen fades to black. She sighs and smiles. A thick envelope from the bank. Nothing good ever comes in that kind of weight. Claire sliced it open with the precision of a surgeon fingers steady. Inside, not one, but 3 printed forms. All crisp. All branded with the bank's embossed logo. She skimmed the top line of the first page. Loan application. Megan Grace Recovery Services, LLC. Requested amount $80,000. Primary applicant Claire Parker, co-signers. James Parker. Linda Parker. She blinked. Her social security number sat bold and naked in the middle of the document. There was a signature at the bottom hers. Except it wasn't. The pen pressure was too light. The tail of the K in Parker curled the wrong way. She would never write that loop. Claire stood. Within 10 minutes, she was in the downtown branch's internal investigation office, sitting across from a risk manager who looked like he hadn't slept in days. He tapped at his keyboard, pulled up the account. "This was filed 2 days ago," he said, frowning. "Same name address, but this account was closed. Your digital authorization shouldn't even exist anymore." "It was reactivated through the back end," Claire said. "Someone had access." He nodded slowly. "We'll flag it. But to proceed legally, you'll need to file with the Fraud Division, IRS, and FBI Internet Crime Unit. Do you have documentation?" Claire handed him a flash drive. "Everything you need, including a log of all access timestamps and the associated IPs." Back at her own office, she sat under the harsh glow of fluorescence, compiling the affidavit. Zoe entered silently, setting a coffee beside her. "They went for loans," Zoe asked. Claire nodded. "That's next level." Claire didn't respond. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, editing a declaration. Each sentence was razor sharp. A witness, a shield. Her phone lit up. Unknown number. She answered. Claire Megan's voice fragile. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. I never meant..." "We're still family, right?" Claire stared at the screen. "Did you know about the loan application?" she asked evenly. Silence. A long breath. Then the call disconnected. Claire didn't move. Didn't curse. Just exhaled once and attached the final document to an email titled Fraud Package, Claire Parker. V. James, Linda, Megan Parker. Sent to her attorney, the bank's fraud department, the IRS, and the FBI. She stared at the screen, then clicked send. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about making sure they couldn't do it to someone else. She turned back to the physical documents. One signature still nagged at her. The looped K. She pulled up an old permission slip from 1999, the only time her mom forged her name to get out of a field trip. Same loop, same slant. Claire took a picture, labeled it Exhibit D. Her inbox pinged. A LinkedIn message. "Heard about what you did. They tried the same thing on me. Uncle Ray. Some people call it estrangement. I call it freedom with a credit score." Claire stirred her coffee slowly, letting the warmth seep into her fingers as the wind from Elliott Bay carried the scent of salt and wet cedar through the open cafe window. Seattle was gray this morning, but it was the kind of gray that made new beginnings feel clean, like a blank slate. Her suitcase sat at her feet, half unpacked. The boxes in her new apartment hadn't been opened yet. She didn't mind. Her phone was quiet. She had changed the number. She scrolled through her inbox, mostly utilities and service confirmations, until she saw a name she hadn't read in years, Raymond Parker. She smiled. He looked older in person, but not bitter. They met in person for the first time at the Pier Ray with a copy of the Seattle Times tucked under one arm. Claire, with her favorite black coat zipped to the chin. "You did the right thing," he said after they'd settled with their drinks. "It's strange, isn't it? The freedom tastes unfamiliar at first." "I thought I was the only one," Claire said. Ray chuckled. "That's what they count on." Silence. "Shame. But I see you figured it out a decade faster than I did." He reached into his wallet and pulled out a faded letter, the same one Claire had found in her email archive. "That line," he said, pointing. "Don't let them chain you with gratitude. That was for me, too." Claire nodded. "I read it more than once." He leaned back. "They framed me as the selfish one, the unstable one, all because I stopped writing checks. That's their tactic, strip you of your narrative." Claire blinked. "We're not bitter," she said, repeating his own words back to him. "We're unbrainwashed." Later that afternoon, she returned to her apartment, still empty but sunlit. There were no stockings hanging, no tree, no forced family Zooms scheduled. But the silence wasn't hollow. It was sacred. She unpacked one box kitchen stuff, pulled out a chipped mug Megan once gave her in college, and set it gently on the counter. The ding of her email broke the calm. A message from Megan. Subject line: "Happy birthday." The text read, "Hope you're well. I miss you. I'm trying to start over too. Would you be able to help with $1,800 for a security deposit, just a loan? Promise. Claire stared at it for a long time. She didn't respond. That night, while uploading paperwork for her new job's HR portal, her LinkedIn pinged with a new message from someone she didn't expect. Tyler R., the ex. Megan's abusive, controlling ex-boyfriend. You weren't just saving her. You were saving her from all of us. Thank you. She froze, then deleted the message. A breath escaped her lungs like fog on glass. She walked to the window of her new apartment, bare high above the city, watching the ferries glide into the distance. Her laptop made its soft, closing click. No text messages, no midnight calls, just peace. The silence Claire found wasn't absence. It was release. She walked away not to win an argument, but to reclaim a life no longer measured by sacrifice. Justice, after all, doesn't always arrive in a courtroom. It can come in the quiet refusal to be used again. When truth is laid bare and the leash is cut, even exile becomes liberation. No wall of lies can stand forever against the tide of truth.